If you haven't taken a seat yet, if you would like to do that, and we'll just begin in a moment. Best socks. I'm completely by myself up here. There's nobody. You could sit up here if you want, Mayor. It's up to you. Okay. I think Betty was going to sit with you. We could find someone to sit with you. This is being recorded now. This is great. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is John Dowds, and I am the chaplain and senior mental health consultant for all of our city employees and their families as well. And it is my privilege and honor to MC this special event this evening. I'd like to acknowledge first and foremost our Mayor Amarjeet Sohi, and members of council who are here with us this evening as well. And I'd also like to acknowledge Andre Corbold, our city manager, and his presence with us as well, so thank you. What a journey the last 2 years have been. Probably the understatement of the year. We've all experienced a lot, learned a lot about ourselves and about other people, and our community, of course. And it's been a roller coaster of thoughts and feelings and emotions, and of course, to some degree, still is. Tonight we gather together here to recognize our strength and the incredible strength of community, all of us living with the impact of COVID over the last 2 years. And also tonight, we gather to remember and to commemorate the many lives lost to this deadly virus over the course of the last 2 years plus. The COVID pandemic challenged us in ways that none of us could ever really have imagined. And yet through it all, Edmontonians faced and continue to face it together. And that's good. And that's hope. COVID has been traumatic for so many people, probably for all of us here in this room for a whole variety of different reasons, and those who are watching live stream. And the City of Edmonton is honored to work with the Edmonton Arts Council to create a monument that symbolizes hope and resilience and memorializes the lives that were lost because of this pandemic. So I'd like to ask Elder Betty Lantandra to come forward at this point and offer a prayer and a blessing. Thank you, Betty.
Tamskat now. Ista minute pe emesta magian. Ista epikte maxian. Kamam teneitaman kakio kaksitsik. Eko kagisup nagataskitsikota teisim nano. Eko nangek stahe mana. Kaima kamam skumitsik. Maga kiano pugo. Awitsituya. Kahkio, aktabentuya tasgut. Kakismuioma, kawapentuya tasgut. Uhtawimau, kais kitapenguya. Kakayasimon upsis. I greet you all tonight in my language, which is a Cree language. My first language, English is my second. I greeted you to tell you, or to speak about, not to tell you, because we don't tell. We talk about the importance of coming together as one nation, one human, one people. It doesn't matter what color we are, where we come from, we're all in this together. From the beginning of COVID, it was so scary, such fear were into people, children, etc. We didn't know what to do, where to go. Especially when everything was shut down so quickly. And it was the elders, and I'm included in that, where we talked about if we allow fear to overtake our faith, we would not see this through. If we were afraid to talk about it or to even look at another neighbor and smile because we couldn't pass COVID through being kind. So that's what we went through. That's what we went through along with the rest of us, the rest of you, I'll say, and many lost their lives. Many lost their lives. And that's what these things, these diseases do. The suffering of people, many loved ones passed, some by alone in the hospitals. Nobody there. No family couldn't go in the hospitals. The doctors, all the healthcare, everybody that worked to help each other. And I remember one night I was asked to come and bring some, we call it maskiguapwe. It's a tea that we make when there's really no other Western medicine we can use. And I was asked to bring some and make some, and which I did. And I was driving, and it was just, nobody else was on the road. It was just me, and I was just like, I can't believe this, I can't believe it. And then I remembered, I was not alone. My Creator was with me, my God, however I choose to say that, or however I choose to identify that. I was never alone. I was never alone. In the middle of the night, another time, driving to the hospital because a little baby passed that didn't even make it into this world. It passed. And I was asked to come and do ceremony. It was minus 40. And at night too. And how that looked was nobody else on this earth except myself and driving. But my faith brought me through many, many atrocities, I guess you can call them. Many obstacles. But as a people, and you're a people, where you come from, where your ancestors came from, the struggles, and that this wasn't our first go-round with a pandemic that was meant to kill us off as human beings. But we fought, we came together. The ones that weren't afraid, we were told, the elders told us, talk about it. Talk about this pandemic. Don't be afraid of it, because it's like a bad spirit, I guess I'll say. That's how I can explain it in English. But if we allowed it, it would take control of our minds, our hearts, the inside of us, our mental, our spiritual, it would take control. And that's not to give any reason why some of us are here alive today and some have passed. That's how they were supposed to go. It was their time to leave us. Because we're all given a time when we're to leave this earth as human beings. and go to the next level of life. It's not the end, because death says it is. Death teaches us. Life teaches us. When we're born and we come onto this earth with our parents in the hospitals, wherever we're born, so full of joy to have life open its eyes, a new little baby, but we never see death with it, and death is always with us. But we don't celebrate that. We celebrate the life, but death is always there. So, in our way, my way of life, my traditional way of teachings that have brought me to where I am today, nobody's different. Nobody's higher or above than anybody else. But as we gather here this evening, and I'm so happy that I could come and be part of this, I don't know if it's a celebration or what we could call it. But in my language, it's another obstacle we overcame. We came further than what we thought we could, because nobody knew at the beginning what was going to happen. So as I say a little blessing, those ones that have passed, they're probably all around us. Sometimes when we beg, because prayer is begging, it's begging for the goodness. And sometimes we believe, sometimes there's a little time, could be a second, where they're allowed to come and just check quickly. And that's what I feel tonight is. They know we acknowledge that. They know with our Creator or God, however we choose to say that, they're here with us. And tobacco is our first medicine, not in a way that's a teaching to tobacco. But when I'm offered tobacco, I don't know where these words come from. But somewhere along the line, my ancestors used them. They prayed. They prayed for each and every one of us. They didn't just pray for me, they prayed for everybody. That we would have a voice. Sometimes, though for those that can't speak for themselves, we are the voice. We are given that. So as I say my prayer tonight about this, I'm thankful. I'm thankful to see what we have today and how we've overcome together, and that's what we call Wakutuwin, relatives, coming together, prayer, however. And sometimes we're lost. Those ones that are lost, they become angry, and that's when we lose them. We lose them out on the street or somewhere. But we never forget them. We'll never leave them behind, because they too belong here. So with that, in my language, I'll say to our Creator, my Creator, God, say thank you for this life you've given us. Sorry, but this moment, this time right now, we'll never get it back. That's how fast life is. We'll never get it back. We'll never get back what I just said, a few minutes ago. But it's this moment that matters. It's this moment that matters, what's in your heart and how we look at each other. If I see you as a color of a different nation, that's not what we're supposed to do. I'm supposed to see you, your eyes, as a human being, God's creation, Creator's creation. Whether you're the president or however, you're still God's creation. So give thanks for that. Give thanks for the time that you have on this earth and live each day to the fullest. Take advantage of it. I live alone and I'm happy. I get up and sometimes if I pass a mirror in my house, I say, well, good morning, Daddy. You know, people may think I'm crazy, but there's one time I could never do that. I could never acknowledge that I was a good person. I was never taught to be worth anything. So now I've taken all that back. I had to do a lot of work to get all that back. And here I am today to say, yes, you took it. You took that opportunity and never allowed this day to pass by without acknowledging yourself first, and therefore acknowledging the rest of your relatives, your families, your children, your wives, your partners, whoever, and make the day the best. Don't stay stuck in anger. Never go to bed angry. That's how we become sick. Sickness will attack us that way. So, up sis, a little bit, I'm going to pray in my language. And you can pray in your minds and how you know how to do that. Think of somebody right now that needs our prayer. Think about the people in the Ukraine. History can repeat itself. Be mindful of that. Those are my people over there too. How nutawi se mandu asemena. Tamagitawian, the Pituganis to the PM Hayan. The Maganawan, which in Anuskatapskak. Kakio Yakutakatsi Patapet, Kawitsat, Commune Pat, Kamumam Tanetsagat, Commute head, Kawitsihat Exisa. How the Maganawan no Tawi. Creator, please bless everybody here this evening. I ask this in your name and throughout the world that we may find peace again. How Samaga, hi. Thank you.
Betty, I've had the privilege of hearing you speak many times, and it's good to hear that you say when you look in the mirror you see a good person, because not only are you a good person, but you're a blessing to all of us here tonight. So thank you. Mayor Sohi, over to you, sir.
Thank you, John. And also, thank you, Elder Betty, for your prayer and for your presence. This is a very important time and moment, and for you to be here with us, it is very heart-touching, and we deeply appreciate that on behalf of our city council and on behalf of Edmontonians. Thank you so much for being here. We are absolutely here with my council colleagues, Councillor Ann Stevenson, Councillor Knack, Councillor Tang, Councillor Principe, Councillor Rutherford, Councillor Wright, and Councillor Jans. This really speaks to the importance of this event. I absolutely want to start by acknowledging that we are gathered on Treaty 6 territory. And I say this often because that land acknowledgement is not just ceremonial for me, it has a very deep meaning, because I came to this land when I was 18 years old, and basically had nothing other than the love and support of my brother and my sister-in-law. And my brother passed away in the middle of COVID. And because of this community, because of this land, and the warmth and welcome that I received here, I was able to thrive in this place. This is a community that lifted me up, so I really want you to know the deepest appreciation of the ability to be on this Treaty 6 territory. And because of that, together we call upon our collective honored traditions to help guide our healing process. So hello to all of you. And thank you for joining us for this announcement as we come together to start the first steps toward healing from COVID-19 pandemic as a community. Today, I want to speak about the role of leaders during times of collective pain. As leaders, we represent many diverse groups, communities, and neighborhoods, and we have a necessary role to play in this healing process. In good times, we champion our causes, celebrate our successes, amplify our communities, and make progress. But in hard times, our role changes. We need to invent new ways to lead, listen, and empathize when facing unpredictable and unprecedented challenges. We need to find new ways to create safety and stability when nothing seems to make sense and we feel most vulnerable. Over the past 2 years, we have all been shouldering the weight of this pandemic. Many of us have been apart from those we love, and many have tragically lost loved ones. We have felt scared, worried, and angry. But we have also never stopped being hopeful, always caring for each other and stepping up for each other. And as leaders, we have a duty to uphold the memory of those who have sacrificed so much, and to the hundreds of Edmontonians who lost their lives to COVID-19. I know the pandemic is not over yet. We are still dealing with it every day. We will continue to live with its lasting effects for years to come. There are many things we can't control with this disease, but what we can control is how we move forward together. By gathering here today, we remind each other of the power of community, gratitude and optimism as we start to heal from the pain and trauma of the past 2 years. That is why, on behalf of Edmonton City Council, I'm announcing the commissioning of a COVID-19 monument to honor all those who have lost their lives in this pandemic. This monument will serve as a public acknowledgement of our collective grief and loss. But it will also remind us of the enduring courage and the resilience of our communities. We will work with the Edmonton Arts Council to bring this project into reality. The grounding nature of public art will memorialize this difficult and trying chapter of our story. It is only a first step on our journey out of the pandemic, but I'm glad that we have begun to create more moments of catharsis. I also want to let you know that we are working to plan a public vigil in the summer where Edmontonians can continue to make space for healing, memory, and closure. This will be another important step in our city's healing process. So thank you to everyone stepping up to care for each other and stepping up to care for our communities. I want to go back to what Elder Betty was sharing with us, the pain and the loneliness and the feeling of vulnerability and feeling of anger that I felt when my brother was in hospital. For almost a month, we were not able to visit him because of the pandemic. He did not die of COVID. He died of other illness. But that inability to be there and that inability for family to come together and mourn, which is a collective thing. Mourning is never individual. Mourning is collective. And hundreds and hundreds of Edmontonians haven't had that opportunity yet. So healing is important. And I hope this monument will allow us as individuals to heal, but also as a community to heal. So thank you to all of you for being here today. And thank you for your support. There are many leaders here from different institutions, and you made at the time to be with us today for this moment. So very deeply appreciate that. So John, over to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marcel.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sohi. So I'm honored to invite the City of Edmonton's previous Poet Laureate, Ahmed Ali Nomadic, to share a poem with us. So Ahmed, there you are, sir. Good to have you. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Mayor Sohi, and for the invitation to the city staff. And also I'd like to acknowledge that we are located on Treaty 6 territory. As an immigrant, as a refugee, it's very valuable for me to acknowledge where I am. This goes back to what I believe in with Bob Marley says, how do you know where you are going if you do not know where you are coming from? So it's important for us to make acknowledgement regularly so that we know this is the point of reference. It's almost like being able to tell the story, because for as long as we can remember, we stood up for the national anthem and we didn't know why, but now we do know why we make acknowledgements, which is to recognize where we are so that we have a point of reference to move forward and never repeat history in a negative sense. But I am grateful here, and I wrote a quick poem, and I'd also like to recognize that Titi Lopez Shinuga is the current Poet Laureate. However, she's doing fantastic work, and she has a residency in Scotland at the moment. So it is an honor to be here to share a poem with you today. In the overwhelming darkness of night, accompanied only by solitude and silence, there are moments I lose myself in the meaning of existence. To ease my mind, I stare into the vastness of space in admiration of how the stars float in nothingness, on how they are separated by immeasurable distances, on how the light we observe may be coming from stars that no longer exist but continue to light the way. Up close, they may be lonely stars, but to us, from so far away, when not masked by clouds, the universe looks like it sleeps in crowded blanket of stars. I find comfort during these difficult times knowing that as human beings, we are no different than the stars or the earth we inhabit. Our bodies alone are host to galaxies of microorganisms, both good and bad, trying to exist. The universe is rooted in relationship. And although we may feel isolated at times, we could easily get lost in the galaxies that we form. Rest assured that the light we emit will be visible to others far after we are gone, so continue to shine. Because gatherings like these create the foundation for the constellations that guide others in darkness. It is easy to confuse our stardust as another's, especially when we have no one to reflect our light. We are the embodiment of persistence. The challenges we have overcome are a testament of our resilience. We are made by the unwavering kindness of humanity, demonstrated by the healthcare and frontline workers, and community members who made it their obligation to serve. There is nothing easy about this pain. Comforts we had assumed secure became obsolete, leaving us questioning the future. Those who fled wars still trying to rebuild had their foundations collapse. but with certainty in their future, they continue to build. Our greatest strength is how we find community, how we build upon each other's strengths during difficult times. Selflessness is selfish because we are made of the same matter as the universe, and we are the reflection of its essence and share more than space with one another. There is more to the human experience than we know. Like how the earth and the sun hold one another in perpetual dance, our kindness is what gravitates us to one another, making forward movement possible. If I may leave you with this, that we are nothing more than matter made of earth and time, and in a matter of time, this body of ours will go back to earth and won't matter, because in a world where legacy is the only thing you leave behind, it's not when you enter your grave, but when the last memory of you fades that you die. After all, there's a reason why God shaped this earth like a honeycomb. It's so that we never forget to just be. So please continue to remember and the memory of those who did lose their lives during COVID, because until you are forgotten, you continue to exist. Plant a tree in their name and remember them. Memorials like this are very important. Thank you very much.
You are such a talented man. Thank you. So thank you everyone for being here this evening. For so many, perhaps all of us in this room and many others who are watching by live stream and many others beside, especially those who've been on the constant front line, the essential workers, be it first responders, medical professionals, transit operators, grocery store clerks, and that list goes on and on and on, of course. For so many, it has been a constant hit the ground running, pivoting. I hate the word pivoting now, I have to say. I do not like to use it because we've had to use it so much over the course of the last 2 years. However, that's the reality and it still fits. Pivoting to manage. Hardly a moment to catch a breath sometimes. Intensity, exhaustion, anxiety, uncertainty. So tonight, if only for a moment, we sit here in this place, which as we understand it is a place of welcome, Mayor Sohi, isn't it? A place of welcome for all of our community, anytime, anywhere. So it's a place of welcome for all of us. And maybe it's important that we just take a moment to pause and breathe and reflect and ponder and give thanks and remember. So I know that we're not always comfortable with silence in amongst a world that has so many words, but I'd like to give us a moment just to breathe and to reflect and to ponder and to give thanks. So thank you all. Thank you all for being here tonight. This is what community is all about, the opportunities that we have to be together like this. Take care, and as we've said it to each other and to many others along the way, especially over the last 2 years, take care and stay safe. Good night, everyone. Thank you.